Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is another of our drone on seminars. Today I'm going to be talking about drones for utility inspections, and I hope you can all hear me okay. Sorry if there was any echo whilst I was testing. Okay, so Drone On is here to support and educate those interested in drones and related technologies, and it can support and develop any business. For general housekeeping today, I want to make sure you're all familiar with the chat function you see in front of you. Feel free to ask any questions during the session in the chat section, and we'll be pleased to answer your questions towards the end of the seminar. Just a brief introduction. Your host today, my name's Scott, and I'm the Product Sales Manager at Feds. I've got over 7 years experience in the drone industry, and today I have the pleasure of joined by my colleague Gilbert. And he's our Head of Inspections, and he's just returned from Saudi Arabia on an 8-route project, so it's good to have him back in the office. Gilbert boasts thousands of flight hours, and it's very relevant for today's webinar, talking about drones and utility, and this is his expertise. We'll both be answering your questions at the end of this session. First of all, I want to just have a quick poll, and I just want to find out more about which industries you're all coming from. So if you just take a couple of seconds to answer which particular industry you're coming from, this would be great to see, just so who is in attendance today. That's great, we're getting all the votes coming in now. Don't be afraid to select the box. We've just got about 9 of us to go. So we can already see here we've got others and oil and gas seem to be winning the vote. I'll give it a couple more seconds and then we'll continue. Okay, we'll continue. Well, that's quite interesting. Oil and gas and others seem to be the winners here. Share those results with all of you. Interestingly enough, only 26% from utility. Okay, so I hope you find today quite relevant. Much of what we are discussing is relevant not just for the utility sector, but throughout the spectrum using just drones. Okay, so what are we going to discuss today's webinar? I'll tell you more about Feds, and then we're going to delve into drone-powered solutions for utility. I'm going to give you some examples of utility inspections leading into the results of the technology capable of reporting these. I'm going to showcase you the DJI drones and the compatible sensors, and then finish off with a questions and answers session. So what are Feds and what do we stand for? Well, Feds stands for Falcon Eye Drones. We're the leading drone company in the Middle East, and we're the first to provide drone as a service. I'm now proud to be partnered with Aerodyne, and Aerodyne are the largest drone service company in the world partnered with Feds. And we're very proud to mention that. We embrace innovation in technology. We provide cost-effective, time-saving and accurate solutions that will all benefit your business. And hopefully today you'll see and have a good insight into that. We've built ourselves through service, and we're expanding through product sales capability, providing the very best in drones and sensors available on the market today. And this is particularly my area of expertise. Together with Aerodyne, Feds are global leaders in AI-driven drone-powered solutions. We collectively have a presence in 25 countries and amassed hundreds of thousands of asset inspections. We provide expertise that transcends borders and markets. Interestingly, we've inspected over 120,000 kilometers in power lines, and this expertise is what we wish to share with you today, so I hope you enjoy this webinar. Today I'll be focusing on power and electricity, so transmission lines, the inspections for that, the substation inspections, and also distribution line inspections. However, do bear in mind, as I previously mentioned, the principles showcased today can be applied to stack inspections and other areas of the industry. So what issues can be faced with overhead transmission towers? And this is what OHTL stands for anyone who's confused. We believe it is important to assess each asset methodically and thoroughly. So what sort of issues can you find when you're doing your inspections? Well, there could be insulators cracked and polluted. You could have missing nuts or bolts on the structure. This is quite a common issue, and we'll be discussing this down the line. Is the tower suffering from corrosion due to the environment? Have any conductor strands suffered any damage due to high winds, etc.? And also, what condition is the foundation in? Is it suffering from erosion or disintegration? Is vegetation encroachment an issue you need to tackle now or maybe a year down the line? And most importantly, is there a loss in power efficiency? Is electricity being wasted due to any of the above? So what benefits do drone inspections bring to your overhead transmission lines? Okay, so there's a fair few benefits here. You're going to improve efficiency massively. Drones will cut down your routines and make your inspections much faster than your traditional methods. I'll go into a bit more detail. Your inspections are also safer as well. You fly the drones at distance, and of course with overhead transmission lines there is a danger for electric shocks and for damage or maybe injury to your staff, so that's something to bear in mind. You also save time and money. Of course, using a drone, you can conduct the inspections faster and more effectively. And also, the images are very high quality, and we're going to demonstrate today some of those images and videos taken by drones, which I think you'll find very impressive. Also, access to hard reach areas, much easier using a drone. They're much more mobile and portable. And also there's a high level of health and safety. Okay, so traditional methods, and why are these less cost effective than using a drone? Well, tower climbers present your business with more risk and uncertain data. Can they access all the hard to reach areas, and how long will this take? Well, helicopter flights are also costly and provide less than perfect results. Ground inspections provide one angle only and are needed in conjunction with the previous two methods, whereas drone flights offer improvements over all previous methods. They reduce risk, increase angles of imagery, you get a faster capture of data, and there's also huge savings on your inspections. And today we're going to mention about how this cost saving will really improve your drone inspection program. In front of you here, just a visual representation. You can inspect up to 100 towers in a single day. This is potential using a drone system and a team of drone pilots. And we know this because feds have done this before. Using the very latest in technology, you can combine the drones. We can train you on how to facilitate better efficiency, manage your data by using post-processing software. So you can transform your operations in the field and have a very cost-effective solution for inspecting up to 100 towers in a day. Feds have been helping utility companies save millions of dollars a year just by following a very simple process. So inspections by drone are accomplished through a multitude of sensors and capabilities. For example, here you see the DJI M300. I'll go into more detail as time progresses throughout the webinar. Now this system here has the ability to record in 4K video. You also have the ability to record a radiometric thermal. And also you have a very powerful zoom camera. And you're going to see how capable this is as we go through this presentation. And very importantly, DJI have transformed the capability of drones by allowing software development and also hardware development. Working with third-party providers, now the M300 is capable of attaching a UV corona camera to detect darking, etc., etc. So here we have some examples taken from our good team. I believe Gilbert next to me may have taken this shot himself. This high-resolution image is evident in how capable these systems are. And Bearing in mind, each image is geo-referenced, and this allows for faster referencing, especially if you've got a lot of work you need to do in one day. Again, capture very close-up stills of your assets in very high resolution. Let the drones do the work. Essentially, the sensor will have the capability to zoom right in on that asset while staying clear of that object. Very crystal clear here, as you would agree. And again, these images show how easy it is to access towers and their components, but do it safely and at distance. I've got some more images here, just a combination of some of the footage we've taken for clients in the MENA region and demonstrating the capability of the sensors on the DJI M300. We've got a great little video here demonstrating how powerful the zoom system is. Now notice here we have some damage, quite clear there. Of course, now you can assess this asset. The client will then be able to conduct an efficient repair without having to assess the entire edifice itself. So here we're using the 23 times hybrid optical zoom on the sensor of the drone. And it's in 4K recording as well, so very capable. Again, another video demonstrating how close you can get up to these strands on the actual overhead line. If there was any damage on this device here, it would be clearly seen. So very, very capable system. So we have thermal footage. Okay, so this is a good indicator of any variances in the surface temperature above a power line, a transmission line. And at times our team have assessed, just through thermal imagery, whether or not there is an inefficiency in that transmission line. Of course, if it's burning a lot brighter, it will be indicative on the screen as well of a certain temperature. The hotter the temperature, usually the more inefficient that system is being. And Gilbert will discuss this towards the end of the session as well in a bit more detail. And again, here we go. We have another good indicator of a section reference. You can see the high and the low temperatures in the top left here. Quite a good readout here. We don't see too much of an issue. Unfortunately, we don't have any particular footage of any particular damage. However, we can potentially help you in your surveys down the line. Okay, so here's a great example of using a UV corona camera system. And it just showcases a unique way of showing loss in power line efficiencies. So this technology is now compatible plug and play with the DJI M300. And I'll be discussing that shortly. On here you can see how it depicts losses in electricity transfer. This is going to cost your business time, it's going to cost you money, lost revenue. And quite clearly here we can assess very quickly and of course inform the client so they can make the necessary repairs. So a very effective system. Of course, UV corona is invisible to the naked eye, so this system is unique and it's a great asset for anyone looking to use it. Okay, so quickly going to go through cloud-based reporting. This is the verticality grid software system, and verticality grid is a drone-based enterprise solution from Aerodyne, our partner. Our data is stored on a cloud server, and that can be accessed by the client on the same day the tower is inspected. And data can be filtered by coordinates, filtered by fault type, other criteria. For example, a client can go to the cloud server and search for rust in the system, and a filter will show all images with that fault identified, and each image has its own report. Now, alternatively, they can search by location and see all the relevant data. And for more information, do get in touch with me after the end of this session via email. I'll share my email towards the end of the session. Again, we got some very interesting report types here. It allows you to have very quick accessibility to your network remotely. Okay, so what we're going to talk about now is we're going to talk about more of the drones and the DJI M300 in particular. I'm just going to do another poll for you. Just going to ask you, are you looking to integrate drones into your operational workflow? So if you can just give me a good idea of yes or no, or maybe you need to do more research, or maybe you've already using drones in your operational workflow. Okay, so this is quite interesting. Already we're seeing that many of you are saying you need to do more research. So you're not yet convinced, so that's quite interesting. I'll give it a couple more seconds just for you to put your vote in. Okay, I'll give you a couple more seconds and then we'll move on from this poll. If you haven't put your answer in, please do now. Okay, so for those who put their answer in, we can see that many of you still need to do more research. So you're not yet convinced whether or not drones are important for your operational workflow. Okay, so hopefully the information I'm about to share with you will give you more of an idea. Okay, so the DJI M300. Now this drone has set new standards in utility inspections. It's a very important system to us as it offers superior performance, better reliability and intelligence, and also better connectivity than ever before. This drone is, I would say, the best solution for business outdoor inspection operations. The drone offers up to 15 kilometers maximum transmission range. Now, this is in the States. In this region, it's 8 kilometers. However, that's still twice of any previous DJI drone. It's very important to note how strong that transmission system is. It has up to 55 minutes flight time, that is without payload. And that's thanks to two very large capacity batteries, each 5,935 milliamp hours or 274 watt hours, so they're quite large. The primary display offers improved telemetry, which is essential for your pilots. It also offers a higher IP rating, ingress protection rating. Now, this is ideal for harsh and sandy conditions as we have in this region. It also allows up to 50 degrees Celsius operating temperature. So the drone has a health managing system. This informs you of any issues or conditions you exceed whilst operating. It also has a 6-directional sensing and positioning system. It's the most complete enterprise drone to date for outdoor inspections. Together with this, the new drone has groundbreaking new payload, the H2O series. And this is available with or without a radiometric thermal sensor. This provides 30 Hz, 640 by 512 radiometric footage. This allows you to tap on screen, anywhere on screen, whilst showing the thermal temperatures, and you can see each pixel's temperatures independently. You can also spot the highest and the lowest on screen, so very powerful payload. It also boasts a 1200 meter rangefinder. This is great for targeting objects, for following cars, also for measuring distances, and a 12 megapixel wide angle camera. This will be a default camera. You can actually pinpoint other camera systems in that main interface. But last but certainly not least, the system has a 20 megapixel and it has a 23 hybrid time zoom. In combination, that's 200 times the original zoom using digital and optical. Very powerful system, much more powerful than the previous Zenmuse Z30 used on the M210 series, or M200 series. So all in all, a very compact payload. I think it's simply incredible having so many sensors on one payload. Okay, so as previously mentioned, DJI offer payload integration. With UV cameras, UV corona cameras, they're available as part of your inspection requirements for utilities. Capable of detecting arcing of electricity, otherwise invisible to the naked eye. You can stream through the control interface on the drone, and you can also manage your assets effectively using this interface. So to learn more, if you wish, you can send me an email after the session. I can send you a lot more information on these types of payloads and also how we've used them in the field as well. Because don't forget that feds have tens of thousands of flight hour experience, which we want to share with you. In front of you here, we have the smart controller, and it's also showing how you can improve your automation and your missions. So you can take the same images from the same angles, at the same locations, time and time again, using just one tap on the screen. So a very capable system. If you want to automate your missions more effectively, you can then go back in time and you can see any changes on your transmission line. So very powerful. You can also take high resolution grid photos of a single tower. In front of you here, you can see an image divided. Of course, with this, autonomously from one tap, you can process your data of one OHTL much more effectively and much more quickly than taking manual images of each section. So a very capable system on there. If you want to charge your flight batteries with ease, you have one case, you have one plug now, and it's an easy slot loading mechanism for your batteries, providing a convenient charging solution. And this is capable of charging a set of 2 batteries in 1 hour, depending on your voltage level, of course. Now, this case offers flexibility of updating all your batteries with one smart controller connection. I love that idea. So no longer do you need to plug in each battery individually if there is a software or a firmware update. This does it all in one go for you. So it's never been as easy to maintain your flight batteries. Of course, when you're out in the field, store them inside, close the case up, and you're good to go. Of course, you can store up to 8 of the TB60 flight batteries in one go. You need to use 2 at one time for any flight. And also 4 of the smart controller external batteries. The smart controller has an internal battery system, but you can extend the use of it. So very capable. The DJI M300 has 6 directional sensing and position sensors. This provides the very best in safety and protection from collisions. Up to 40 meters detection range allows your team to prevent any unwanted damage to the assets, or particularly to the drone, of course reducing your costs, and also allows for better control, much greater reliability for continuous work. The drone has an ADS-B receiver for commercial aircraft. Quite important to mention this. It also has beacons and auxiliary lighting, so great for air safety standards, particularly if you're flying at altitude. For this region, it's important to note that ingress protection is better than ever and prevents solids such as sand from penetrating the motor housing, allowing for long-term use in environments that typically would degrade other types of drones. And it's great to see this, albeit this image represents rain. Very rarely we see rain in this region, but I think for sand and debris such as that, it gives you peace of mind that the drone is more rugged and reliable. Also to mention that the blades and the motors are much larger than the previous drones issued by DJI. So it's much more capable of flying in more windier conditions as well, which is typical when you're inspecting your assets. The drone has greater system redundancy and allows your team to provide new mission strategies and increased mission flexibility. So for example, if a battery fails, the second battery will ensure it remains airborne. It has a dual inertia measurement unit, and this calculates which way is up, down, left and right. It has a dual barometer, a dual compass, dual RTK, so real-time kinematic antennas, and also dual global network satellite system modules as well. So the system has multiple redundancies, and that gives you a lot more confidence in using this system. This video is very impressive. This is going to show you a demonstration of how the drone will correct itself even if it loses a motor whilst in operation. As you can see here, the drone automatically rotates, compensating for the loss in that motor. It can then be controlled, well, say controlled, but it can be controlled a lot more effectively than simply dropping to the ground. So here you see the pilot bring it into some reeds here. Equally, if it's towards some sand, at least you can save the aircraft rather than having a complete loss. So very impressive software now included as part of this drone, despite the fact it's a quadcopter. So in conclusion, I'd like to mention Fed's complete end-to-end solution for your business. We offer drones as a service and product sales for training as well. We consult and support. We're an authorized DJI dealer, and we can help your project save money and improve efficiencies. So see us as a holistic provider. If you need a service from us, we can support. If you need a product from us, we can train, and we can support indefinitely as well. Okay, so this is going to be questions and answers time, but before we do that, I have another poll I would like to ask all of you, if you could just spare a bit of your time in answering what is your biggest challenge in integrating drones into your operational workflow. So if you could just give me just 2 seconds of your time and put it just in this the box here and let me know. That's great. I'll give you a couple more seconds to put in your votes. We've got about half of you answering now. Don't be afraid just to put something in there. Someone's even annotating on screen. Okay, I'll give it a couple more seconds. Okay, I'm going to share this poll with you. Quite interesting to see that budget and also time are the two biggest factors in, or challenges, I would say, in integrating drones into your operational workflow. Also interesting to see that a fair few of you have also integrated drones already into your workflow. It'd be quite interesting to know what type of drones you have. At this stage, please feel free to share those with us in the comments box now. I know that my colleague Gilbert is already answering some of your questions, and what I'll do is I'd like to take the time now to just go through some of those questions with all of you audibly, so you can all have those questions answered. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to open my chat box now. And I'd like to answer some of your questions. Okay, so starting from the top. Sorry, apologies if some of you didn't receive the poll on your screen. Do apologise for that. It must be a Zoom technical issue. However, we did get a fair few answers, so it gives you good scope of where people stand. Okay, so first question I can see on here. Does the corona arcing spotting require a separate flight from the high-res inspection flights? I would say yes. Typically, you would require a separate flight just to confirm any particular issues in that particular area. The corona arcing system, or the corona cameras, UV cameras, sorry, let's try not to digress here. The UV corona cameras are ideal for situational awareness on one OHTL. Once you've identified the area, you can then use a high-res inspection to determine the exact area where the arcing is taking place. Can you see any physical damage? And usually we would recommend, yes, more than one flight. Now, simultaneously, the M300, the drone I've just mentioned to you, offers multiple payloads simultaneously. You can use your high-res image or high-res camera on one camera, and you can simultaneously place a corona camera on the same drone. So with the M300, you can do this all in one flight. So you don't need to take off again, you don't need to use a separate aircraft, it can all be done in one flight. So I hope that answers your question. And how many, so Mohammed has asked the question, how many sensors can the M300 carry at one flight? That's a good question. It depends on the payload. So the H2O series has up to 4 sensors on one payload. there are some UV corona camera systems out there with up to 3 sensors on one payload. So the M300 can carry up to 3 payloads simultaneously. It can carry 2 underneath, 1 on the top. If each payload has multiple sensors, then you can do the maths. You could have a dozen sensors on one drone, so very capable now. But it does carry up to 3 payloads, which is unique. There's no drone out there that simultaneously does this, so a very capable system. So I hope that answers your question, Mohammed. And of course, Gilbert's been answering these questions as well in the chat, so he's confirmed that as well, which is great. Does the ADS-B transmission as well? So you're asking, Andy, does it transmit for commercial aircraft? It's only equipped with ADS-B receiver. Gilbert mentioned this in the comments below. So it will only receive information from commercial aircraft, but it won't transmit. Can an ADS-B transmitter be retrofitted? If there is a third-party ADS-B transmitter, such as ping, then potentially you need to physically attach it to the drone. Would it work automatically with the system on board the aircraft? And that's something to be seen. I'm not so certain, so I could get back to you on that one. Mohammed, you asked, how far should the M300 from the power tower to take images and perform the inspection? Is there a safe distance? I'm wondering if my team here would like to answer this. I think they already have. So I think Gilbert here has been answering that question specifically. So the M300 can get as close as 2 to 3 meters from the structure. But with these kind of sensors, as mentioned in this webinar, you won't need to, because the sensors will be able to do all of that detection at distance. So the thermal sensor is quite a powerful system, and it will detect any potential issues at range. The corona system, that will work at range. And also the zoom system will allow you to fly hundreds of meters away from that power line, but safely zoom right into that object of interest. Okay, so I think Stuart, you quickly put in RTK2. I'm not certain if you mean as a system real-time kinematic. With the ground control point, it uses real-time kinematic for more accurate flight. So I'm not certain if it provides the accuracy for the data set itself. I'm just going to have a look through some more of these questions here. So RTK is only for flight precision feature. Yeah, that's right. So the guys are in agreement with me. It's not true RTK in the sense that it georeferences each image. It uses the global network satellite system, the GPS function on board, to reference those images. The real-time kinematic system itself is an operation only for more accurate flight capability. So using a ground control point, it will be a lot more stable in the air. And I hope that helps. Also, to mention, when using for utilities, an RTK system will overcome any potential interference through any magnetic or electrical interference you would typically see through a traditional power line. Of course, traditional methods of using drones, some older systems may struggle because of that high power electromagnetic interference. So looking at a few more questions here. Let's have a look. So I know DJI got the no-fly zone option. Does this apply to the M300? If yes, can I get a lock code officially to use it in the zone? So let's have a look here. Okay, so the no-fly zone option. Yes, this is part of the DJI interface. If there is a no-fly zone, it should prevent you from flying in that area of interest. However, the governments of each country need to update DJI for these no-fly zones. We would always recommend consulting with the local civil aviation authority as to where you are flying, and this will be part of your training procedure as well. So I would usually recommend consulting with the civil aviation authority. For example, if you're flying near Dubai, Dubai Civil Aviation Authority, or the General Civil Aviation Authority. There is information available online showing you the red no-fly zones, so on and so forth. Okay, so does the pilot need to see the drone physically, or he can guide it just by seeing it on screen whilst inspecting towers that are at distance? Gilbert's already been kind enough to answer this. Power line inspections, we need line of sight. But in certain situations, a professional pilot with a lot of experience are able to guide the drone by seeing it on screen. So it's down to experience and experience alone. Thankfully, our team have got tens of thousands of hours of flight experience. We would always recommend line of sight. Fail or particularly cause any confusion based on the situation. So I think that's pretty much all the questions answered. I don't know if anyone else has any more they would like to ask. Paul's just put a question there. Thanks, Paul. Is the thermal camera limited to 550 degrees Celsius max range, like all of the DJI infrared cameras? That's a good question. So I think, 2 seconds, I'm just going to Ahmed, as requested. Apologies if you hear any interference from any of the members attending. I've just muted him. Thanks for letting me know, Ali. Okay, so thermal cameras, yes. This is not your typical thermal camera. It's not a flare camera. DJI have their own infrared system on board. And our team actually have found with the H2OT series, the onboard thermal sensor on that payload offers a little bit more accuracy in terms of its image. Previous flare systems, the XT2, for example, the XT, would be somewhat blurred around the edges. However, this new thermal system that DJI have applied to the payload is a little higher resolution throughout the image. Particularly to your question, I'm sorry, Paul, I'm digressing. 550 Celsius maximum, I believe that might be the case because it is a Tau2 sensor, I believe, which would limit it to that temperature range. There are high and low gain settings. I might send you a message after this event, Paul, to give you a bit more of a detailed response to that, but very good question. I believe that is the case. Okay, so Rocky as well. Do clicked images by the drone M300 RTK contains position metadata from DRT2K data when deployed? No. So the metadata is from the onboard GPS and GNSS system. The DRTK2 data is used for flight accuracy only. Okay, I hope that answers your question. What's the difference between the RTK and the Helios 2? Okay, so the RTK is a real-time kinematic addition to any drone. RTK is a type of precision hardware used to improve the accuracy, usually of data sets, unfortunately not on the M300. Technically, it improves your flight accuracy, so the drone doesn't drift as much in the air, and also it prevents interference. The Helios 2 is a caged drone, so completely different piece of hardware, and that's something else that we sell and we talk about and we offer as a product, and we do training on as well. I have offered webinars on the Helios 2 in the past. I will be doing more information down the line on this. I'll be hosting some live demonstrations. We'll be hosting hopefully a live demonstration of the Helios 2 in October in Dubai. I'll be releasing information on that as time progresses. However, back to the DJI M300. Newton, you've asked, does it auto-detect hotspots in power lines? Auto-detection and hotspots. So the thermal camera itself, the thermal built into the H2OT payload, it offers a radiometric interface. Every single pixel that you see on screen has an individual temperature. And that temperature is indicative of the color on screen. So generally, items that burn brighter will burn, is it more yellow, guys, would you say? Would it be more red if it burns brighter on thermal? Yeah. Yellow, typically. So,
and also give you more than when you set the temperature.
Yeah. Okay. So Gilbert mentioned typically with the system, it will give you an audible warning or more an on-screen warning if you're reaching a certain temperature point, which for on screen, and you can actually set that. So if you reach a certain temperature, it will give you a visual warning on screen, which is great. You can tap on screen, remember, that smart controller you saw through the webinar. You can tap on any pixel and you can measure that temperature. You can post-process that information. You can draw a line on a transmission line, and you can see the temperature variance on that line. You can see the hottest point and the coldest point. You can draw a box over that as well. So there's a lot you can do with that. I hope that answers your question. So I think that's pretty much it in terms of questions. I'm not sure if anyone else wants to fire anything else my way. I'm just going to share with you my contact details. So my email address is scott@feds.ae. My telephone number is on screen, 971-58-104-3664. Now you can call me on that number, you can WhatsApp me on that number as well. I'm here to help you. I'll be following up this webinar, just asking you all about your drone programs. Have you got them already? Do you need a drone in your drone program? At the end of the day, this saves you a lot of time and money. It's quite clear that drones are far more cost effective than traditional methods of inspecting utilities. And I hope you've seen that today. If you want to learn more, if you want to have a demonstration, I'm going to be offering you a free proof of concept demonstration at our dedicated flying field for anyone who's interested on the DJI M300, so do get in touch regarding that. I'll also offer you some free consultation. If you want to learn more about how this drone is going to improve your business, let's set up a one-on-one call. Feel free to even visit us at our office in Dubai. Also, I'd like to extend, we're offering free training for anyone who purchases a DJI M300 from us. And that is going to help your team become a lot more effective in producing results that are going to save your business time and money. I'm not from Wales, I'm from Newcastle, Andy. Way I, man, I'm Geordie. The wife is from Wales, though. She's Welsh, so hopefully she's not rubbing off on me, Andy. But thanks for that. Sometimes I do get confused as a Welshman, but nonetheless. Okay, so thank you very much for your time, everyone. I hope to see you at some point. And yes, thanks for joining us in the latest of our Drone On webinars. We look forward to seeing you in our next webinar session. And keep in touch. What we're going to do is we're going to share you a live demonstration day. We're going to showcase to you all the drones that we offer, including the DJI M300. And yes, that will be shared in due course. Thank you very much for your time, everyone. That's right, can away, lad, Andy. Take care, everyone, and I'll hopefully speak to you soon.